Just as a FYI, when I say if I get pushed off the grid, I'm just going to go on vacation and while I'm off the grid, I mean take a bus to Florida and die down there in the sun on a beach someplace. Hope I can come up with enough money to come back after hopefully my kidneys are less painful and the doctors have helped me down there, and then do whatever the fuck it takes. If I can't get the actual help with this I need, I mean, I won't have phones, I won't have transportation, I won't have an ID, I won't be on the grid. Everybody will literally be hitting me, abusing me, trying to do whatever they can to rob me, taking advantage of me, arresting me for crimes I didn't commit, whatever the fuck they feel like. Just like before when I was living off the grid. Not my choice. I was pushed off the grid once again. I tried to go to the shelter and get a job, but very quickly I learned that my disability, what is a neurological disorder, when it's not diagnosed or not reported, it disqualifies you from doing nothing. I can't drive, can't collect Social Security. I mean, I could collect Social Security if my father didn't already say that my disability was something else, something to do with my swimming medal and all the downers I was taking and depression and bipolar and all these other made up fantasies that my mother loved to spin. And thanks to doctors spending more time because my father was paying them than they are now with me, it's almost impossible to clear up. So I'm not able to get to any help. What are my disabilities? I am ADHD. I talk a lot. I have anxiety, and I have a lot of PTSD memories and bad things, horrible things that happened to me during childhood, like an overdose, like black people choking me on a couch, or like wandering the woods, or like seizures in the woods, or like being forced to eat poisonous food, or being forced to take poisonous medication that you're not prescribed, or being forced to take full bottles of Epicac, or being held down on the ground and taking your medication twice in the same hour, stuff like that. So I have PTSD from that. I have anxiety, and I have ADHD. I was born with ADHD. My mother destroyed my stomach and esophagus, as well as gave me a neurological disorder by literally shutting down my brain. I had an overdose at age 7. My mother slipped me something. I lost the ability to see out of my eyeballs. I lost the ability to talk. My mother called 911 and they told her to bring me to the emergency room. I was started to pass out on a pile of newspapers. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't feel my body. I couldn't feel the carpet underneath me. I couldn't talk. I was able to mumble help, help, help to my mother, but by the time I got to the pile of newspapers, I couldn't even form words. My breathing was slowing down. I was getting super, super unconscious. Couldn't see or anything. Right after, as my mother said, they don't know what they're talking about. Where they said that to bring him to the emergency room because I asked about it later. That's what the lady on the phone said. All I heard was, they don't know what they're talking about, and I passed out. Later, I brought this up to the doctor, brought it up to my mother, father. I even was sucking my own skin, trying to figure out what's wrong, and teachers saw a sudden change in my movements. I was writing different, walking different, talking different. That's my voice, by the way. If you're wondering, oh, that guy sounds weird. Is he homosexual? No, I'm not actually. My voice changed forever. I if I shut down my nervous system, it gets deeper though, so that helps. I learn it gets back to normal a little, and I love it when it's more normal. It doesn't sound so high pitched, but yeah. You'll also see me shake, and there's times where I can't talk at all, and that's all part of the neurological disorder that the teachers were clearly seeing, and they were trying to help me with. Teachers were trying to help me, and many other people, but my mother didn't want it, and my father didn't care. So I was brought to Texas on my mother's word, and I was only 7. So when she brought me into a room and I was saying yes, no, I want to go to Texas, no, I don't, yes, I do, no, I don't. And my mother said, stick to my answer. I did. Plus, my mother was in charge of me. If I said no against her, I was going to get more medication. I was definitely not going to like what happened. If I said no against my father, he didn't care. He didn't care what I said, as long as it didn't do anything. He didn't care. So we moved, but they also didn't tell me they were going to cut off all my doctors and teachers and all the help I was getting. No more physical therapy, no more speech therapy, no more looking into the overdose, no more looking into my coordination issue, no more looking into any of my neurological disorder. Also, my stomach isn't working well, and I have acid reflux, and I need glasses. But we didn't find that out until I was 16 because my mother cut off all physical doctors. I mean, I'm not even kidding. One of my foster mothers knew I needed glasses and returned me back to the orphanage. It took my adopted mother until I was 15, 16 to tell me. I didn't know that this was a thing because nobody came up and told me I needed glasses. When a foster mother that you only see for a week or a couple weeks tells you that you might need glasses because you looked at an eye test at Walmart that was just a bunch of letters, and she goes, you definitely need glasses, and then she returns you to the orphanage, you don't think very much about getting returned to the orphanage. You think about that. Oh, I lost a mother. You don't think of why or the eye test or what it all means. Then one of my neighbors is the one who discovered I needed glasses and told my mother and father that I need glasses. I need glasses badly. But also, there was an eye exam that my mother wanted me to fail too, and that's weird. My mother was acting very, very weird during tests. Like, for instance, when I had a swimming medal that I won in the orphanage, my mother brought it into the doctor's office and said that I stole this medal. I was a liar. I was a thief. She said that I had attachment disorder and needed to be medicated. And also, I was running around putting my name on stuff to hurt her. I was putting my old last name, even though she changed it to a different last name. So, now, what do I say in this doctor's office? I say the truth. I won that medal in the orphanage. I did too. I won it at YMCA for treading water. They brought us into a van. They brought us across a building that was really cold, so from a parking garage kind of across to this open area and then into the YMCA. Then we went in the pool and they did a bunch of regular stuff where they held you, had you practice, and then whoever treaded the water and kept themselves up the longest got a little brass medal that you probably got at the dollar store. Everybody else got some jumping parachute men and whistles or whatever toys were in the bag. I treaded water the longest, so I got the swimming medal. They put my name on it in the orphanage. They wrote ZG and gave it to me and told me to make sure kids don't steal it. So I put it in my Lego box and forgot about it. And then when I got adopted, I was playing with my Legos, just wanted to show my accomplishment to my mother. My mother started yelling at me, calling me a thief, saying it must be an African American's medal because I never saw you win it. So it must be the African American's medal. No, you can't have your medal back. No, you're mentally ill. No, you need to be medicated. She starts screaming at me. I mean, it's just terrible, terrible. No matter how many times I tell her, yes, it's mine. I won in the orphanage. Yes, it's mine. It's my medal. I want it. Doesn't matter. But the worst part about it is my mother got me drugged and put on pills because she wanted to fantasize about my swimming medal. When she gave me downers, then she's going to go to the doctors and tell everybody that I'm depressed all the time, even though she's slipping me downers, and more pills. And if you're thinking, wow, how do you know she slipped you pills? Because she gave me pills when she wasn't supposed to. That's simple. My mother said, time to take pills, gave me pills, and then there was a horrible reaction. And then those pills would never be given to me for 3 more weeks or whatever. There would be months go by. And then the next time my mother, she's not getting her way. My son's allowed to go trick-or-treating, but I said no, but everybody else told him yes. So, Zachary, come on over here and here's some medications. Yes, it's time to take your medications. And then an hour later, I'm feeling nauseous. And then an hour and a half later, I'm puking in the bathroom. I'm feeling very pale, very weak. I don't know what the hell's going on. My mother walks by and says, you're sick, aren't you? Yeah, you can't go out. And she gets her way. But that's not suspicious enough. This repeats. She does this multiple years. She gets the idea that it's okay to give me extra medications or pills to shut me up, get her way, whatever she wants. I don't realize this during childhood because I'm not an adult yet, and the adults around me aren't acting like it. So, I have a damaged body, but my mother can't get away with this. You can't harm a child like this without there being signs. So were there signs? Absolutely. Teachers saw a big change in my body, so they wanted my parents to put me in physical therapy and speech therapy. They saw a big sudden change. Not only this, they knew she was giving me lots of more medications that all of a sudden were approved, even though for many, many years there were none. On top of this, I talked about some event that was really bad and did horrible things to my body, and that my body's never the same, or there's big changes in my body. The teachers are saying that as well. And my mother says it's an allergy attack to the medication she gave me. She doesn't remember what the medications are, and we don't need to pay attention to it. Meanwhile, my mother's not reading any of the pamphlets, not going over anything to do with the medication. She's just trying to get as many as possible put into my body. But she's getting herself into trouble, and she's about to get caught. The teachers know something's wrong. The doctor knows something's wrong. I want help with my body. I'm sucking on my skin, and I need help. And my mother's way is not working. So what does my mother do? And my father says, I got a job offer, but I don't want to take it. I don't want to move to Texas. But I got a job offer in Texas, and I'm going to turn it down. My mother goes, oh, no, we need to move to Texas right away. My father asked my mother, why? She goes, I need a change of scenery. Yeah, that's what it is. I need a change of scenery, and I want to move to Texas. My father goes, no, we're not moving to Texas. My mother says, yes, we are. And my father goes, no, we're not. And my mother says, yes, we are. And then they say, well, let's leave it to the kid. So my mother says, with a big smile, you want to go to Texas, right? And then my father goes, or do you not want to go to Texas? Because you're the tiebreaker. So at first, I know my mother's treating me terribly, and she's the pants, so I say yes. But then later I go, I don't know what Texas is like. Am I still going to be able to see the doctor? Am I still going to have the same teachers? What's going to happen? No, I don't want to go to Texas. Plus, cold hurts right now. All of a sudden, I'm shaking and hurting from any cold and something, lightning or something. I don't know what to call it. And something's going on, and I don't want to go. But then my mother convinces me now that you're saying no, I want you to change it to a yes, because the tornadoes are nothing. You don't got to worry about the tornadoes, nothing. You'll be okay in Texas. Stick to yes, stick to yes. So I go, okay, I'll stick to yes, and they move me to Texas. Now, if it stopped there, things might have been okay. But I still need medical care. I'm still having problems. I go to school in Texas. They have now, oh, by the way, my mother wanted me to redo first grade for no other reason than she wanted me older than the other kids. And the teacher said, no, he needs to go to second grade. No, he needs to go to second grade. But my mother yelled so much so, that they eventually agreed to listen to my mother. Anyways, we're in Texas, and they're evaluating my level of education. And I'm playing with the other kids, but I'm putting on jackets when other kids are in t-shirts laughing at me, going, why are you putting on a jacket? It's not cold. I go, the wind, it's making me shake. They go, shake? I go, yeah, you're not cold? You're not cold, guys? They go, no. So I'm wearing a suede jacket in 80 degrees just because there's a breeze making me shake, because I'm not used to dry heat, and I don't like cold. But everybody else feels fine in a t-shirt. So I know something's up because they're laughing at me. So I go to the doctor's office, and I just mentioned when it was started. I don't know what it's called, but I know it started with my mother giving me pills. I lost my vision. I lost the ability to feel. I couldn't feel the carpet. My breathing slowed down. It was really hard to describe during childhood, so I even used the words, it was like I lost all my senses. I lost my vision. I couldn't talk, and I couldn't feel. It was terrible. It was right after my mother gave me medication. And my mother once goes, oh, that's just the allergy attack. You don't need to pay attention to that. And what meds were those? Oh, we don't know. And they don't pay no attention. But my mother gets worried. So we leave. And she asked me a stupid question in the car on the way home, too. Why did you say that? Because it happened, Mom. Because that's just because he asked a question? I don't understand what she's asking me that question for. I mean, shouldn't we be talking about this? Shouldn't we be getting to the bottom of this? But my mother doesn't want to do anything about it. Yes, she does. I find out when I'm in my 20s. When I'm in my 20s, I find out, oh, wait a minute. Yes, my mother did do something about it. She took me out of school. She took me out of the doctors, and she put me where there are no doctors and there's no education. My mother moved me to Villa Santa Maria in the mountains of New Mexico that wasn't built yet. If you Google it now, you'll see a totally brand new building. But if you look at it when I was there in about 1999, you'll only see a shack, the office quarters for the staff, a party hall for Christmas parties where the staff have their parties and the parents come on only Christmas, on like a Christmas event. And the parents are only allowed to see their children 1 hour a month. 1 hour a month, and the kids cannot call home unless they get permission from the person who just choked them out on the couch and made them blue and pass out. If the guy who just choked them on the couch, literally turning the child blue, the biggest kid was the heavyset kid. He actually choked so much that he passed out a couple times. They really cut off his, I think it's because he was so heavyset that it choked him too much and he would pass out. But he asked to call his parents and he was denied because he was just choked out. There's a lot of that going on. And if you did tell anybody like the staff or the head of director, you were punished for it even worse. There was also a time where they forced us to eat poisonous food. The fridge broke down. Everything went rotten. And instead of telling the staff or spending more money, they fed it to us. And a lot of us got poisoned really bad. So, yeah, my mother did do something about it. She took me out of the doctors, out of school, and made sure to cut off all sources of people that could help me. Then after New Mexico was over, she decided to move me to Maine and homeschool me, cutting off all doctors and all teachers some more. She continued this behavior until she was able to pay off psychiatrists to listen to her and document whatever she wanted. By then, I was so fucked up in the nervous system and nobody had helped me that nobody knew heads or tails of what's going on. Now, what do you think happens to me when I have an injury at the age of 31? I only figured this out at the age of like 24, or I should say bits and pieces. Like, I got the Social Security piece of it at age 19, 20. As far as the overdose, I realized that was an overdose at about 22. I realized that it was something bad right when it happened at age 7. And I told the doctors it was something bad and just told them the symptoms of it. But I didn't know it was called the overdose. I didn't know it was illegal. And I didn't know my mother was planning on covering up a crime by trafficking me. I knew none of those words yet. I was only a 7-year-old. I didn't even know the word commitment or commit yet. I'm not even kidding. I didn't even know the full context of the word commit. So, of course, I'm not going to understand trafficking or overdoses or what they feel like or what they are or how they can hurt you or how they can affect you or how the nervous system works or how a neurological disorder works or the fact that I'm bumping in the furniture. I mean, yes, my mother also tried to make me out to be a self-harmer. Then, when I'm in the woods, that makes everything worse. Because at the age of 19 to 23, I don't know. I'm just living in the woods, freezing to death, trying to use alcohol to cure the neurological disorder. I found that Ativan, alcohol, CBD, and Triliptal, what is it, for epilepsy, and all the other benzo families like medications. Those all, and kind of opiates, not really. Opiates are, I do something totally different. I don't know how to explain that one, but no. So I used alcohol mostly because I didn't, most of the time I used alcohol because I didn't have access to doctors or any previous information about my disability. Instead, we just had a made-up fantasy that my father tried to collect Social Security on. So now when I tried to get benefits or try to get help with food stamps and I'm telling them the truth, my father just uses the lie to turn it all off. He says, no, he's a fantasy spiller. He's a liar. Don't help him. No. He's a fantasy. Yeah, no, it's all made up. He's mentally ill. Yes, he's coming for you. Yes, he's mentally ill. Don't even talk to him. He's dangerous. Yeah, he's dangerous. Yeah, that's my son. He's dangerous. Yeah, he deserves to die in the woods. Yeah, send him back to the woods. Send him back. Yeah. I don't think my father realized what can happen when you treat somebody like this for 25 years. I don't think he realizes the danger he's putting me in and the people around him. He put his own grandson in danger by not dealing with his wife. My nephew, his grandson, literally cried to me that about my mother smacking me in the face with rulers. Yeah, my mother just pulled me down, started smacking me for no reason other than send a message to her grandson's father because she didn't like my brother. My brother knew she was doing stuff wrong and tried to speak up about it. So my mother didn't like that. So she punished me and sent a message to her grandson, and then that message would be sent to Tim. So she just pulled me into the room, bent me over a couch, and started smacking me in the face. Not the ass, no. I was bent with my neck backwards, my back against the side of the armrest. And then she just wound up and smacked me in the face a couple times. I put my shoulder up, and she ended with my shoulder. When she couldn't hit my face anymore is when she stopped. And this was just a message. It wasn't like I was getting punished for anything I did. I was playing with my nephew, just regular old play. And then all of a sudden she grabs me, starts yelling at me, coming up with all this fantasy bullshit, pulls me into a room, starts smacking me with a ruler in the face. Then I have to come out of there, and my nephew is hysterical because he knows this is illegal behavior. So he's crying, going, "It's wrong. You can't do that. It's wrong. It's wrong. Why is she doing that? She's going to do that to me. No. It's wrong, Zach. It's wrong." And I'm saying, it's okay. It happens all the time. Please, just relax. It's something I'm used to. It's okay, Seth. It's okay. That's wrong. I should have never had to do that, and I shouldn't even have to talk about it now. This shit should be done and over with. But my father wants to extend it and extend it and extend it and extend it. I want this shit over and done with already. I want your wife's shit out of my life. I don't want a single statement, a word of you or your second wife anywhere in my life. If I see one word from a doctor that has to do with some fantasy of your wife, I got a problem. I got a big problem because I got my own life to live. I got real disabilities. I got real illnesses that need to be treated, and I have every human right as anybody else. But as long as my father is lying to people and continuing to believe in a fantasy and try to get out of trouble, I am fucked. And I don't like to be fucked by anybody. And I've been very nice to him about this. I'm not even kidding. I mean, you realize that if I did this to somebody, they would probably tie me up by the nuts and torture me. I mean, oh my God. If I did what my mother and father did to me, to somebody else, they would torture me. They would, oh my God, they would so hurt me. You can't poison somebody's child and then lie about it, traffic them around the country, beat them with a ruler, give them medications, lie to his doctor, have them brought into Lowell Treatment Center, try to make him look like a serial killer and a house burner when all he did was a science experiment with some slug slime, blow every single detail out of proportion to try to make your narrative fit and try to get your son hurt and on pills. I mean, do you think my mother told the doctors that I just held a match to slug slime to try to make a fire extinguisher or fireproof liquid in the future when I'm older? I just try to do the scientific method. That's the truth. Is that what my mother and father told the doctor? Well, my mother told them that I was a serial killer, I was hurting animals, and I like to burn things, and I like to light things on fire. When the idea was to make something fireproof, and in no way was anything supposed to get hurt. So she's literally just yelling these things at the doctors that I'm going to be some serial killer someday. Then they're doubling up my meds, drugging me, I'm drooling all over the place, and I'm having to get naked in front of strangers. Yes, I have to do checks all the time. When I go out with my father in another room, just in case my father gave me a cigarette or something, they have to get me naked and have me do squats. Now, if it was the women's staff, there was a screen there. But with the male staff, they had you just look away. You looked away and did squats. Now, I have no idea how they get away with this. I would think they have better protocols in this, but nope. At the age of 12, we got screens with the women's staff that did it. Well, it was only once. It was some old, horrible woman. And most of the time, it was always men because I don't think women was normal protocol. But some of these people, they don't care. I don't have an attorney. I'm some poor orphan kid with a crazy mother who's willing to put me in harm. Even like for instance, my mother's trying to make me out to be a serial killer. Meanwhile, the psychiatrist in the hospital, at the very end,